Alright guys, welcome. I'm just adjusting the camera here. I have it on a stand, so the stand is almost falling over. I'm just going to dive straight into my horse racing game called Under the Lights Horse Racing. As you can see, we're under the lights, and I'm trying not to have the glare on the game board, so apologies for that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dive straight into the game, and so you get a feel of what's going on. There's obviously a lot to explain, and I'm not going to go through everything. Just adjust my chair, but I'm going to show you pretty much everything apart from the main charts and things, because they're still in flux, and quite a lot is, a lot of development has gone on here. I'm talking, well, hundreds of hours would not be an overstatement. Here's some horses. This will be the 8th race at Saratoga, and I'm running a 200 horse tournament. Each initial leg of the races is 10 horses, so there's 20 races of 10 horses. The first 3 will qualify, so into a 60 horse pool. Then there'll be 6 races of 10, first 3 qualifying, so to 18 horses, and then 2 semi-finals of 9 with 4 qualifying to the final of 8. And this is at Saratoga, so this is an 8 furlong mile. Well, a mile is 8 furlongs, so it's 8 turns essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. This here is a kind of a reminder board. It's not completely necessary. I put a pawn to sort of remind me what's going on in that turn. Sometimes I need it, sometimes I don't. This is the turn marker that makes its way down the track. So at the moment he's sitting behind the 1 mile space. There's a lot of design gone into the game boards. This is the turf version, with the leader group with the green and white rail, the challenger group with the sort of yellow and white rail, and the pack, if you like, with the red and white rail here. The board is further separated by what's known as like rail activation spaces. Horses that prefer to be on the rail will activate their abilities from there. The blue ones here are defensive positions, which are the leading positions. At the moment, I'm doing races with only 2 in this box, the leader box, 1 in the second place box, 1 and 1. So this was another version where I upped the defense, but I found that the horses were getting a little bit too stuck. So I released a box. I released a blue marker in each box. So I've yet to take them off here. These 2 here are front runner designated stickers, and I've got the board is on a piece of card underneath, and I've got an A3 sort of protector sheet on top, so I can stick anything I like on the sheet and it doesn't actually affect the board underneath. This is my lengths lead pawn. He lives on the finishing post, and then he'll make his way down the lengths lead. These are wide activation spaces, kind of like the opposite to railers. And then there's one other type of activation. I call these special activations. So front, wide, rail. And there's another one called late runners. Now they move around, so they're not determined by the position on the board. So the last 2 horses in the race are in the late positions, so they could be anywhere. But the front 2 horses in the race are in the front runner positions, so they're fixed there. I'll just give you a brief look. On the other side here, I use my painting doobie-doos, and this here is the dirt side. Okay, so here I did it at night, so we have the track is dirt coloured. The same markers are out, and on this side you can see I've got the two defensive boxes, and I've got like a dark blue night background here. So this is for dirt track racing under the lights, okay, and this is for turf racing during the day. And if you remember my old video, this was the original Polytrack board that I made 6 or so months ago, and it's curled and everything, but it's seen a lot of action. And after I did the Polytrack painting, and this one again has got the 3, it should be 2, I then made the turf track, because it's different styles of races, different types of surfaces have different effects. And also here off to the front here is the action board, which is kind of like where I read what's going to happen in each furlong, what we're going to be looking for. And it's different between dirt races, turf races and Polytrack races. Okay, so let's have a look at some horses. These are randomly pulled from the pool. And these horse cards, for instance, here's one off to the side. Can you see that? This is Bling and Tonic. Okay. Now he's or she's a relatively new version. Some of the cards are old versions where they don't have the jockey silks drawn on them. There's not many of those left. Incidentally, over here I've made a 1937 mini set of horses. So from the Santa Anita Stakes, we've got people, let's see, there's Seabiscuit, okay, Speed Heart, Late Runner, John Red Pollard, Rosemont, Harry Richards, and somewhere here there's War Admiral. Okay, and I've got all of their jockey silks from the various websites and the write-ups about the horse, how they ran. I've interpreted that in their stats in the game, their real life jockeys, where they preferred to, what surface they preferred to ride on, dirt, running style. So War Admiral was a terrific front runner, fast out of the gate, fast in the first 2 furlongs, and tails off very slightly, so you got to try and keep him up the front. Whereas Seabiscuit here, he's a late runner, but he's no slouch. A rated in terms of betting. Great Heart will come late and hard, kick of 4, dirt racer, and his speed is kind of reversed to what War Admiral's is, so he'll come stronger. So they're both very fast horses normally anyway. Rosemont, who famously defeated him, has jockey powers. Harry Richards was an exceptional jockey at the time, so I've rated him as the main stat for Rosemont. But he has plenty of going on. Gallop, kick. He has a 3 in blinkers, which is very rare. So he famously beat Seabiscuit in the Santa Anita. I think it was in the 38 race, or maybe it was the 37. So, and in my tests, these two have won 1 each. And there's Indian Broom, who was actually a world record holder for speed. So he's got good gallop, great speed. Basil James, and some of the other horses from the 37 set that I've rated with my version of the game, right? So I'm going to expand the 1937 season to maybe 60 horses. It takes me about a day to do 30 horses. So, and that's all the colorings, working out the stats. One card might take me 10-15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on how much research I'm doing. Some of the horses here didn't have a lot of write-up, and so I really had to work out what was going on from the races that I could see of them, like Water Splash, for instance. So yeah, so that's I think there's 19 cards there from the 1937 set. So I've got a good day's work to make the 60 card set, which I'm hoping for. Primarily, this was this is a fictional horse racing game, and so I started off way back in late summer last year making horses, and over time, sorry you can't see here. Over time, I have to balance the positions. This is a positional board rather than distances. It's kind of like a relative range. I don't know if you know the old game of Up Front, which was an old war game, which I found fascinating back in the day, Avalon Hill, because it interpreted range not as hexes, as 99% of other war games did, but as a relative range. So two cards or two soldiers who were like this, you would have a marker saying 3 beside him. So he would basically, or 3 in between him. So he would be like a range of 3 between, and it wasn't so much 3 spaces. So this always stuck with me. And my designs for my racing games, I tend to think of them as relative ranges. So you can get a lot of track action in a smaller space. And so that lends itself as well to the hobby. You know, there's not loads of charts. In fact, I use one chart at a time, which is on a stand in front of me. So here, as yet, I haven't finished, so I'm not going to share the game at the moment. But I've got betting tables, event tables, track tables per per track. So Saratoga, Churchill Downs. I've got Kentucky. Primarily the primary turf, dirt, and polytrack tracks. Plus, I've got the Santa Anita 1937 track, which was really designed for 10 furlongs, but they did race shorter races there. So each furlong, of course, is a different part of the race. So the gate sequence, as I call it, is like the horses coming out of the gate, and those first initial strides, how they sort of come out up to the end of the first furlong. And then there's a kind of positioning furlong or furlongs, depending upon how long it is until the first turn. And turns have their own separate tables. There's a lot going on, essentially, and I'm not going to cover everything, but what I intended to do was, if I can adjust that light, that's actually the light from the skylight that you're seeing here. Don't do anything with that. Hold on, let's see if I can. Well, it fell over there. I have a curtain over the skylight. No. I don't really want to move this because I've got it balanced. Maybe I'll try an overhead light. Doesn't really matter what you do, the light is going to be somewhere. Thing is, I need to see the board as well. Okay, we'll have a spotlight in the middle of the track, or like that. It's not too bad. Okay. Although I'm partially blinded now. Okay, so let's have a look at some horses. Okay, so for this race, we've got Bossa Nova Bob. Okay, I'll get my pencil here. Bossa Nova Bob. He's a 3-year-old Appaloosa colt. Quite hard to roll an Appaloosa. He's pink and white stripes. He's got speed. Picks up a little bit towards the end of the race. Not so fast out of the first two furlongs, but he can spring from the gate, and he's got great heart. You might see him in the final stages. He's a dirt track specialist, so he won't go so well here today, and he's ridden by the apprentice Barry Dust, and he's D-rated in terms of his betting. In fact, on my betting table, just to give you some live action, I just roll what price he is. Bossa Nova Bob, I need that, and that. So I have my own version of dice here. I have a cube with green, red and yellow. There's 3 green, 2 yellow and 1 red. And these help me determine different things in the game. So he's going down the yellow D column to 5. So he's 12 to 1. Bossa Nova Bob in this race is 12 to 1. Now that's his early morning price. I can roll to see if it had any betting movement. 8. No betting movement. So he goes off at 12 to 1. Bossa Nova Bob. Okay. Next up, one of my favourites, Cindy Silverboots. There she is. Early speed of 7, right? She's terrifically fast out of the gate. Has a great gallop. She's a turf track specialist. She fades a little bit at the end. She really goes gung-ho. And she's ridden by Samantha Zorovich. Alright, she's B betting. She's an amateur rider. That's Cindy Silverboots. Let's see what price Cindy is. Cindy is an 8 on the green column. She's 4 to 1. Okay. Next up, one of my old horses, one of the first horses I created, Bogart's Shoes. 0 speed there, but you still count it because it can be activated. So 4, 2 and 0. But in my latest version of the rules, oh no, speed's fine. If that was jockey, I say that the jockey ability, which is the central ability, cannot be further away than 1 point. So if that was jockey, it would be a 3, 2, 1. As it's speed, it's fine because it's the horse. So got relatively okay speed, is good down the middle part of the track in the gallop, has a little bit of kick, Bogart Shoes, and is ridden by Barbie Edwina from Havana, Cuba. Okay, let's get a price. Now she's going down the C column. And this here tells me if there's a column shift. A 1 or a 6 is a column shift. That's the column betting number, and that again is a determinant. So Bogart Shoes down the C column, look down the green part of the C column to 8, which is 8 to 1, but she's going to shift to the right. So she's 10 to 1. No, it's a colt. Okay, Bogart Shoes is 10 to 1. 10, 12, and I think Cindy was 4. This is one of the best horses I've ever rolled, and I'd say he's definitely a 1 in 100, 1 in 200. This is Khan's Revenge, and he's kind of from the Star Trek stable called Trekkers Trotters at the moment. But so you've got Spock's Ploy, and there's Captain Kirk, and this is Khan's Revenge. I've not actually raced this horse yet, so I'm looking forward to this. He's a 5-year black colt. The jockey is okay. 2, 2, 3, nothing special, but he has great speed through the race. 4, 6 and 7 in the last 2 furlongs. So last 2 furlongs is this number, first 2 furlongs is this number, and the middle of the race is the main number. He's good in the turns, has great finishing heart. That's kind of like a stamina. He's blinkered, so he can be distracted and he can gain extra positions through his blinkers. He's a dirt track specialist and is ridden by Ricardo Montal, B-rated better. And Ricardo Montal is a play on the name of the actual actor who played Khan in the Star Trek film. So let's see, he's B. I'd be betting on him. Green, 8. 4. He's 4 to 1 as well. So at the moment, these two are joint favourites, Khan's Revenge and Cindy Silverboots. Next up, Another old horse of mine, Sun Dancer. 555 on the speed. A little bit of heart. Eliza Rose, another apprentice. Let's see what Sun Dancer is. She's a C6. And she's going to go one column to the left. She's into 5 to 1. Sun Dancer. So if we put the horses in order they're betting, so 4s, 5s, 12s, 10s, I think. Okay, that's 5 horses. And we're just going to do this video on the horses, and then the next video will be on the race. Okay. This is $5 Fred. Now, $5 Fred is a turf specialist. We are at where are we? Saratoga, which is a turf oval. So he's going to be pretty good here. He's a 5-year Palomino colt, gallop 4, no speed, no jockey ratings. So we're really looking for the middle and the end of the race. So Malcolm Rivers might come late on $5 Fred. Let's get a roll for him. Red column, 7C. 10. He's 10 to 1. So he's up there with Bogart Shoes, 10 to 1. Bossa Nova Bob, it's 12 to 1 outsider so far. Next up is Mocha. This is another exceptional rolled horse. I think that, yeah, I mean, Mocha here has got good jockey, 5-4-3, fades a bit, 2-4-5, but the speed is there, good gallops, good in the turn, and is blinkered, and is ridden by the African Echo Bojador. Mocha, and it's A rated, so likely to be the favorite here. And we have yellow column 8, 2 to 1. Mocha is so far your 2 to 1 favorite. 2 to 1, 4 to 1. I can't remember. Sun Dancer, I think it was 8 to 1, 10s to 1, 12s to 1. Now this card made an absolute bodge of the name. The ink ran, but this is the Star of Bombay. Raj Dedev, an Indian challenger for the tournament. D rated. It's got not bad jockey, a little bit of speed. It's come all the way from Bombay. D column green 8, 10 to 1. So a little bit of support there for Star of Bombay. Here's one, Arkansas. I was going to call it Mary Queen of Arkansas from the Springsteen song. I couldn't fit the whole thing in the card, so it's just known as Arkansas. It's a colt anyway, but it's got good speed, 4, 6 and 5, good out of the gate. Mary Franks, see there's the Mary Queen of Arkansas. C. Okay, 11C on the green is 20, oh, he's gone out, 50 to 1. Wow. They do not fancy Arkansas. I had a column shift on the 6, so it was 25 to 1 on that 11 and went out to 50 to 1. Wow. Arkansas, 50 to 1. It's got that speed, 4, 6 and 5 with a gate. Arkansas, you know, could do something at 50 to 1. And the last runner, Night Duke, good in the turns, good galloper, got kick, is a polytrack specialist, ridden by Edmund Hill. B rated. You wonder how I come up with these betting ratings. Well, they all come from a generation chart. Again, it's another chart that's in development constantly. But some horses are red herrings. Some horses have better ratings than they are typically running at, but they can run to that level. And some horses are better than their rating. For instance, Bossa Nova Bob, I'd say he's better than a D generally. And so he could be value, okay? But some really are Ds and some really are As. See, Mocha's an A, but I've not had much luck with Mocha. Or she's not had much luck in the races so far, and her A can be a little bit of a false dagger. And Knight Duke here is a B. I mean, he could be okay if he rolls a lot of gallops, he can be there. Anyway, let's see what he's got here. He's got a 5. 5 on the green. He's 3-1. So that's 3-1. So we've got Mocha at 2-1, Knight Duke at 3-1, Khan's Revenge and Cindy Silverboots are 4s, Sundancer's 8. These guys are 12s, no 10s. He's 12, and Arkansas is 50-1. Right, guys, I'm going to stop the video there, and when we come back, we're going to get into some race. Okay, thanks very much. How do I stop the video?